Liverpool, the late 50s, a grey port city, still bearing the scars of war. Working-class boys, growing up on meager rations and big dreams. They had nothing except for their anger, cheap guitars, and a new feverish sound seeping across the Atlantic, rock and roll. This is where fate collided. A 16-year-old John Lennon, arrogant, brilliant, carrying the wound of an abandoned child, was playing music. And then Paul McCartney, 15, angelic-faced, melodic, and a born musical genius, walked up. It wasn't just a meeting, it was a big bang. They were two sides of a coin, fire and water, sharpness and sweetness. They found the missing piece in George Harrison, the quiet younger brother whose guitar seemed to cry, to sing, carrying an old soul. They weren't the Beatles, you know, yet. They played 8 hours a night in filthy Hamburg clubs, drinking beer, sleeping behind the stage. This was the furnace. They honed their sound, turning roughness into art. Finally, they returned to Liverpool, finding the last piece, the one who held the beat of their heart, Ringo Starr. 4 boys, 4 distinct personalities. The Fab Four was complete. The world exploded. It was called Beatlemania. It wasn't a concert, it was a hurricane. The piercing screams drowned out the music. Girls fainted. The mop-top hair became an icon. The collarless suits. They stood before Ed Sullivan, and 73 million Americans watched simultaneously. They didn't just conquer America, they conquered the planet. Who were they? They were smart, funny, and lethally charming. They sang about love, a simple, pure kind of love. She loves you, yeah, yeah, yeah. I want to hold your hand. The world was craving joy, and the Beatles gave it to them. But the storm outside was too big. They could no longer hear themselves play. So they did the unthinkable. They stopped touring. They retreated to their sanctuary, Abbey Road Studios. This is where the real genius began. They were no longer a pop band. They became artists. They tore up every rule. They played tapes backward, used symphony orchestras, and brought the sounds of India into rock music. Revolver was born. Then came Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, not just an album, but a concept, a film without pictures. It was a day in the life, a miniature symphony about existence. It was Strawberry Fields Forever, a deep dive into John's subconscious. Love also became complex. Love wasn't just holding hands. It was All You Need Is Love, a global message broadcast live to 400 million people. But love was also the crack. Love was Yoko Ono sitting next to John in the studio, breaking the unspoken rule of the 4 boys. The greatest love, their brotherhood, began to break. The pressure of being the spokesman for a generation was too much. John found his path. Paul found his path. George, the quiet Beatle, finally found his voice with Something and Here Comes the Sun. They knew the end was near. They decided to do it one last time. On a windy rooftop in London, January 1969. No warning, no tickets. They plugged in their instruments and played. The people on the London streets stopped, looking up. The police were called. It was their last live performance, a final rebellious act, a raw, beautiful, and honest farewell. They were getting back to where they started. They broke up, but they never really left. What did they do? In less than 10 years, they changed everything. Fashion, hair, the way we talk, the way we love. They wrote the rulebook for pop music, then tore it up themselves. They proved that popular music could be high art. They weren't just a band, they were a chapter in human history, and in the end, as they themselves sang in the last song they ever recorded together, and in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make.